What up, y'all? Y'all know I had to pull up on Ian Garry at the weigh-in for talking all that mess in this little interview. So I'll wait till he get done. I'm waiting patient. As soon as I pull up, boom, she bumped right into me. She gonna use the baby as a shield, pass him off to him. So I'm like, all right, I'll let you have that one. But as soon as I'm about to turn around, she comes over to me, caress my arm, and say, I'm gonna see you later on tonight. Girl, what the fuck that mean? I'm trying to see him, not you.
Better, interesting way for the audience. So I made more money. It's good for business.
There was never a point where you thought, man, this is crossing a line and I might act, a little bit crazy as a result of this?
Ariel, there's a reason why I never put my family and my real private life public. It's because, and I know if someone wants to get to me, it's easy for me. It comes from one ear and it goes out on the other one, and I don't take it personal. But if you try to get to someone that I love or, someone in my family, now it's going to be a different story. So that's why I always try to hide this part of my life, because I am a public person.
Yeah. So
this part, it's public, it's for the fans. But my private life, for me, it's even more precious to me. It's to compare with my career, my life is a million times better than what I've done in my career. But I keep it secret because it's my private life. It's my diamond. It's my treasure. To make him lose is chill. There's a way that you can get to him is to attack someone that he loves. Now, sometimes it's a better way than if you try to attack the person itself. You know what I mean? And I knew that, and I didn't want to give the chance to my opponent to use that against me.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Now, why was he the greatest fighter of all time when he's got 2 losses, of which he avenged, but not in comparison to John Jones? Because I'm talking about not only inside the cage, but outside of the cage. You see, what Georges St-Pierre did correctly was realize that you needed to keep your mental health intact. Now, I know Ian Garry is going to say, I don't care what people think. I don't really care what others say. And I believe him. I do believe that Ian Garry sort of developed a sense of delusionality in order to become the high-level operator that he is. The problem is that it does affect you in some kind of way. You see, even Eddie Hearn himself had said on the Ariel Helwani show, he said something to the effect of, I don't care who you are, social media affects you in any kind of way. You may say that it doesn't affect you, but it does affect you in some kind of capacity.
The kid's saying to me, God, how'd you deal with that? I said, mate, unfortunately, this is the sign of life and the sign of the times more than anything. Anyone that's successful, anyone that's making their moves, the ones that don't have that energy, the ones that don't have the fire in their heart will always try and bring you down. So if it affects you, come off it, right? You can post, you can interact, but it can't not affect you. That's how I did the same. I ran my own social media accounts for years and years and years. And you just get to a point where after a show, I go back to my hotel, right? And I watch a lot of the fights back, which is quite sick in itself, but I just love to. And there would be a stage where I would just be scrolling through Twitter. Now that's my life. That's my product. All my energy goes into those shows. So why do I want to read some geezer telling me it was shit or some guy telling me you're this, you're that?
You're only lying to yourself. A lot of people say, I don't care what other people say. I don't care what they think of me. To a certain extent, I believe that. You want to know something? I got to be honest with you. I've said this plenty of times myself. I don't care what other people think. I don't care what other people say. The reality is you do. And the reality is I do. I'm not going to lie about it. I'll admit it. It's not that I care what people think. It's just that I care when others have something negative to say. And by the way, that right there is a very natural human reaction. It's very natural to feel that way, because otherwise you're not human, or you're either a sociopath. And if that's the case, well, then you can probably get on with life in ways that most normal people can't. But the reality is this: Ian Garry needs to stop putting his family out there. Because I'm going to be honest with you, in the streets or in the cage or in any professional setting, you don't think that people out there will use your family against you? Now think of it like this, right? If any of you have been in an interrogation room before, or in a room with detectives asking you questions, trying to get you to snitch on somebody, what is it that they usually say to you? What sort of appeals are they making towards you? You know what it is? They say something to the effect of, well, what about your family? Think about your family, man. What will your family say? They use this not as a way of trying to console you or trying to tell you that they care about your family, but they are saying all of these things to try and get in your head. Because family, yes, this is a little bit out of hand right now in the part of Joaquin Buckley and what's going on. It's getting way out of hand. However, as out of hand and as underhanded as this is, it's part of the fight game. It's literally what you do. This is what you do in the fight game. You antagonize your opponent for the sake of the art of war. Which is what? To emotionally imbalance your opponent so that you can get him to not think clearly within his own game plan and throw him off of whatever plan or strategy he had going on. And that in and of itself is a strategy. Getting in your emotions. Ian Garry is a good dad from everything that he shows on social media, from everything that he virtue signals about. And I'm not going to make any particular bones about that. That's literally what's going on. It is virtue signaling at best. However, for what he shows, he is a good dad. But here's the thing, right? In a sport where it is 95% male audience, I'm going to be honest with you, no one really cares that you're having kids. No one really cares about your relationship with kids as fighters. They don't. Maybe the women or maybe other kids or maybe other people that really care, other men that really care about that subject, fair enough. They will care, but the majority of men who are mixed martial arts fans are just not going to care. So why do it? Why put yourself out there? Well, okay, as a fighter, you have to put yourself out there, but why put your family out there? Did Ian Garry ever once think in his head that, hey, you know what? Maybe what if one day my kids don't want to be seen in this particular light, right? Would it have been better if they had just kept them off in a private setting, right? I think privacy right now, in a world of social media where a lot of people are at its highest disclosure rate, right? Meaning that they disclose everything that they have going on with their lives and everything that they do on a daily basis. I think this is something that is unfortunately very common, but something that needs to be nipped in the bud so that you can have control over what people say about you. But here's the thing about Ian Garry that you guys have to understand. He's very delusional, and as such of his delusionality, he's not going to care about any of these things. Because let me explain what is in the mind of Ian Garry right now. He believes in his mind that, hey, you know what? I am the best fighter in the world. And granted, you should really believe that about yourself. But at the same time, you also have to understand that Ian Garry is not self-aware of what is going on in the social media world. He blocks himself away from it. And he even disables comments in his YouTube page, which, by the way, is very important for the engagement and increasing your views even higher. I mean, his YouTube does pretty good views. Obviously, he's a high-profile athlete, but he could have done more views if he allowed the comment section to be enabled. But unfortunately, it's disabled, and I'm also going to be honest about this. He has the right to do that. Whether it's higher engagements or lower engagements or not, Ian Garry has the right to do that. You want to know why? Because he doesn't need to listen to your abuse. You guys have to understand that. He does not need to listen to the abuse that you spew at him. He doesn't need to listen to that. You want him to listen to that. You want him to read it because for whatever it is that you have against Ian Garry, and by the way, to be honest with you, I can understand what you may have against him. I don't agree with his lifestyle. I don't agree with his life choices in the matter of changing his last name and in the matter of how his wife is constantly in the forefront of everything that he does, right? But then again, she just became this natural character that's within the realm of Ian Garry's universe. And you can't let go of that, right? Because she's already put herself out there. I would not have done that, right? Most men who value privacy would have rather just not put her out there like that, only for other men to use her as a prop and be used against you, all for fight promotions. Now, is Joaquin Buckley going too far by doing this? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, right? Yes, I think that he's going a little bit too far, bringing up the kids in the situation, bringing up the family or this and that. But at the same time, Ian Garry brought it upon himself. And also, for those of you that are talking smack about Ian Garry, understand this. You're not Joaquin Buckley. So even though Joaquin Buckley is justified in his actions towards Ian Garry, it is you that's not. It is you who's not fighting Ian Garry. It is you who has nothing to do with Ian Garry, has no business with Ian Garry in any kind of way, but you speak bad about Ian Garry to feel better about yourselves. And with that, I also need you to understand, I still don't agree with the lifestyle of Ian Garry to any capacity. But with that in mind, that is all that I have for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe because if this fight happens, I can't wait to see it. The only thing now is that Joaquin Buckley needs to get through Kamaru Usman. Let's see if he does. MMA needs, if you want to find predictions, news, and everything that deals with MMA, shout outs to Kyrie Abu El-Kheer MMA, Sacramento, California, represent.
That's right, Kyrie. I appreciate you, my nigga. You came in here, you was talking that shit. That's right, bro. Much love, Flo. I appreciate you for always stepping in, bro. Be safe out there. Man, my nigga Kyrie, my man Kyrie came through. He started talking that shit. Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing. That nigga will whoop your fucking ass. You would think that nigga's all squared up and all that type of shit. Nigga come through and beat your fucking ass. Like, man, fuck you up. You will never see it coming. So for those of y'all